Now, I posit that this administration actively wants to harm people. I think that they actively want to decrease the population of the United States. I think that they actively want to phase out all brown and black people that live here in this country, period. And I think that killing them off is just, it's life, right? It's life. It's war. It's love and war. It's life. It's the enemy from within. It's all that shit, according to the felon in fucking office, right? So these attacks, these policies, let's call them policies, right? The Republican policies, they all lead to one thing: dead Americans. And not just any dead Americans, but the Americans that are no longer useful, right? Like the elderly who will never work again, who have worked. If you cannot reproduce for the regime, if you cannot fight in war for the regime, and if you cannot work for the regime, you are of no use. To them, you don't contribute. You are a lag. You are just your baggage to them. Eugenicsy, right? It is. They don't want disabled people. They want to breed them out. These are the people we're dealing with. People call them Nazis. I'd say you're not going far enough. There are classic evils in the world and evil deeds usually perpetrated by those evil villains, those evildoers, those dictators and tyrants of old. But now we have different ways to inflict pain, different ways to kill, different ways to subjugate, to use. So we have a new breed of evildoer, and that is this guy. And he's doing what one would expect when you put a fucking felon in office, an active criminal engaged in active criminal conspiracies and active crimes, and who's never been held accountable for those crimes. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to continue to commit crimes. And he is putting it all out there. Not only is he actively committing crimes at this moment, he now has a whole government working for him and committing crimes in his name. That includes his top general, Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is behind the scenes. I think he's running the DOJ, FBI, and the DHS. I think that he is the one that's giving the orders to all of those organizations, besides Donald Trump himself. This is what Donald Trump said this morning. SNAP benefits, which increased by billions and billions of dollars, manyfold, crooked Joe Biden disastrous term in office, due to the fact that they were haphazardly handed to anyone for the asking, as opposed to those in need, which is the purpose of SNAP. They will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up the government, which they can, and not before, and blah, blah, blah. He's not going to hand out the SNAP. He's going to absolutely disobey a court order, is what he's saying right here. He's going to disobey a court order. A judge was very fucking clear, spelled it out. You wanted guidance, you needed legal clarity, here's your legal clarity. Pay these benefits out by Wednesday. That's what the judge said. And now he's saying, I'm not going to do it. I'll do it when they open up the government. Sorry, excuse me, Republicans. They have the executive branch, they have the House, and they have the Senate. They can open up the government anytime they want by changing a rule, going around the filibuster, and passing it without any Democratic support. But what's in that continuing resolution, they keep calling it a clean CR. It's not. It's not just one of those CRs where you just keep the lights on, keep the government open so you can continue to work on your budget. No. Never mind, the Democrats know how to pass an actual budget bill. Yeah, they can. They know how to do that. These assholes don't know how to govern. And Donald Trump has no interest in governing. He just wants to do his vanity projects. So Heritage Foundation, Stephen Miller and Russ Vought, they keep him busy. I mean, tearing down parts of the White House and his ballroom and all this other bullshit that they have him doing to keep him busy, while they actively destroy the government, step by step, as they laid out they were going to do in Project 2025. All of this is in Project 2025. All of it. Including the cuts to SNAP. Also, I would like to say that cuts to SNAP, he's already saying, I would be proud to feed the American people. Just tell me how. So the judge told him exactly how. Now, this is his answer to that. I'm not going to do it. Let's not forget, these people, they talk a lot about, we have to keep it going. We care about people. They don't give a fuck. The big, beautiful pile of steaming dog shit that they passed, that is reducing SNAP benefits by $287 billion over the next 10 years. I mean, cuts to SNAP would theoretically produce budgetary savings. Also, it will produce higher rates of food insecurity. The big, beautiful pile of steaming dog shit is also cutting health program spending by $1 trillion over the next decade, including $293 billion from Medicaid. Maybe 21 million people could be losing their health care. These cuts are not going to take effect until after the midterms because they didn't want to ruin their chances of getting reelected. Big, beautiful pile of steaming dog shit. It's going to kill Americans. We all said it would, but they passed it anyway because they don't care. And that's why I say all of the policies coming out of this administration will have one thing in common. They will kill American people. American people that voted for him, which is the only electorate that he claims to care about. And he doesn't care about them personally. He cares about that vote. Sodomite's Touch reposted this, and they said, Trump says he will refuse to follow a court order demanding that he provide SNAP benefits to millions of Americans, choosing instead to force people to starve. And I would like to say that's not hyperbole. That is the truth. He doesn't give a fuck if you have food. I mean, he doesn't know what it's like. He doesn't care to know what it's like. To him, Ronald Reagan made the welfare queen of the 80s, like, the common boogeyman, saying that people are just so fucking lazy, that's why they can't get ahead, when really employers don't pay enough because fucking corporations have become so greedy. And the Supreme Court said, corporations are just like people. They can also fund political campaigns. So with that Supreme Court order, that's also changed the relationship between our government and corporations, as we see with this Trump administration. All the private donors to the necessary ballroom, almost all of them have business before the White House. The whole administration is just hundreds of different conflicts of interest, walking and talking conflicts of interest, and utter literal illegalities. So yes, it's illegal for him to not issue these SNAP benefits by Wednesday. But insurrectionists are not legally allowed to take office either, according to the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. So we said that before too, folks.